managing artists? How do you?
I mean, I would have to start prior to even managing artists, is just having the knowledge and the vision for your whatever you want to do. Just believing in yourself initially. Like it started for me just DJing and learning about the business and having a love for the music, and then that just went into having my friends down the street. I didn't even know it was management at the time. Maybe just helping my homie down the street with his career. From there, A&R work, doing mixtapes, all that tied into management at some point. But if you want to do anything, not even just management, I just say put the time in, believe in yourself, have the vision, and you might lose a few friends and family members on the journey. But
absolutely,
just stay down, stay 10 toes down, stay committed. Keep it moving. There's going to be a lot of obstacles in your way. It's going to be time away from your family, time away from your kids, time away from your mom, however it may. Money, it's not a sacrifice. So I would say if you believe in it wholeheartedly, just stay 10 toes down and you'll figure it out.
So what got you into DJing? How long was you DJing?
I'm 34 years old, so I was initially DJing since I was about 14, 15 years old. I was like a freshman in high school. It was just kind of just listening to Cosmic Kev on the radio, seeing DJ Clue, he was doing Rockefeller, Touchtone on the radio.
Damn, Touchtone, I heard that name.
Yeah.
I forgot all about Touchtone.
And when people ask me that, I don't know how I got into it. It was kind of just like I said, just the love of the music, hearing the come-up show and just loving music. And from there, I got like a catalog in the mail. It was called Pro Sound and Stage Audio Lighting or something like that. It basically had DJ equipment, audio equipment, and speakers in this catalog. I'm flipping the pages. I'm like, oh, let me see what's in here. It was turntables. And it was around Christmas time. I was like, hey, I asked my parents, hey, I want some turntables. And those turntables were like cheap, like a starter kit. Yeah. Cheap Newmark belt drives. They was cheap. And from there, probably that into whatever it is now. But it was initially just loving music and just listening to the radio and the mixtapes back in the day.
So I'm gonna alley-oop this to you, right? Name, since you've been managing artists, name some of your highlights. Like I see one time you pointed out that you like middleman something for like SAP or something like that.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I've known SAP since about 2011, and how I met SAP was just, I'll answer your question, but to double back,
yeah,
he was in like this battle competition, like the producer battles or whatever. And this is like a little bit after like he had the buzz with the Joey Jihad records and the Meek in My Bags. So I wouldn't say he was on a decline, but he was just, doing his thing. So long story short, he was at a producer battle. Actually, Cardiac was in that battle too. And I felt like Sap should have, it was like a Budweiser beat battle. And I felt like Sap should have won that battle. So when I got home, I reached out to him on Facebook. I was like, yo, that you did your thing, anybody working with you? He was like, no, not really. He sent me his number. From there, I already had a relationship with Cool from Cool and Dre, just from being in the business and just annoying him, to be honest, bugging him for whatever reason.
Right.
And I just ended up sending Cool from Cool and Dre Sap's YouTube channel where he was like making beats on the spot or whatever. Cool was interested in working with him, and it was like maybe a 6 to 8 month process. And from there, we flew to Miami and he signed the deal. And that wasn't even me managing him.
Right, you just passed
it was ball. Like, yeah, in hindsight, I should have had the paperwork, whatever. It didn't work out like that. We still forged and kept our relationship going. And fast forward to a few years back, I had gotten placements in between his Rick Ross placement, but I got him a Rick Ross placement on his Rather You Than Me album. And it's a song featuring Nas. And this was like a little bit after I had like quit my 9 to 5 and went full-fledged with my music. And it was like, that was a pivotal point, because it was like, that was just off of my relationship with Ross's A&R, Sam Sneak. Again, just sending somebody.
He a DJ too, right?
Yeah, he a DJ. Before, yeah, and that's Ross DJ, sending this guy Sav's beats. We didn't know what would become of it. And that happened. He got a placement, and, it's history from there. And that's kind of how all my relationships usually happen, like organic like that. Me not trying to benefit off of it a certain way, which can be a gift and a curse. Sometimes when you look back, maybe I could have got more opportunities, but I was being genuine in every situation I've been in, just trying to be a helping hand. And these people we're talking about today can tell you the same thing. I'm still cool with Sap. He like family to me or whatever. We don't do as much business, but we're going to get back into that. So,
How is this something that how do you balance out when to reach out and when not to?
To who?
Like
Anybody?
Like those those business relationships, when to lean on them and when not to.
I think the biggest thing is staying in communication with these people, but when the opportunity presents itself to use them,
Right.
I always talk about to my friends and relatives and family how, you can't just keep these contacts in your phone. What good are they if we just keep them in our phone? Like, imagine if you just knew me and didn't reach out to me for an interview. What good is that?
Yeah.
And me being me, how I stated myself and I'm private, I have to learn that too. What good is Sam Sneak in my phone, Rick Ross is DJ, if I'm not reaching out to him?
Yeah.
What good is this record label from Def Jam or whoever, A&R exec, if I'm not checking in on them? So I don't have a formula to doing that anymore. I have to put my ego to the side, my pride to the side, and just do it. If I feel like it's a situation where it's beneficial, then do it. And if not, still stay in communication with the person and build that rapport, because you can have a phone with $1 million worth of contacts, and if you're not using them, it's like you just a nigga with contacts in your phone. So I can't.
So nigga that know niggas.
Yeah, and I don't never want to be that. And it's been instances where I've had been so prideful and so had this ego where I was scared to reach out to people, and I still battle it every day because you don't want to be bothering people. But forget all that. I was just in New York just now. I went to Arista, my man Young Sav. Shout out to Young Sav. He managed to flip De Niro. I said, yo, I'll be up there tomorrow. Let's link up.
Yeah.
Let's link up. Went to the office, chopped it up. It's simple as that sometimes. You may be scared to reach out to somebody. They actually may want you in their presence. So, just it's no formula. It's just reaching out whenever you feel like it.
Right. Take it. Walk us through your first artist, managing your first artist, and what was that like?
Technically, my first artist would have been one of my best friends. His name is Tommy Stars. He was like on the DVD.
He from here.
He from Logan. He was on the DVD market back in the day with like Mville, Reese Man.
Monopolyville, yeah.
That's one of my closest friends. And again, that's a situation where it wasn't officially on paperwork where I was managing them, but yeah, same situation, sending out songs, getting them on websites and things of that nature. From there, it's funny because that was the MySpace era. DJ Big Mike, who was a prominent mixtape DJ back then.
Yes, he is.
He saw Tommy on like a blog called onsmash.com. He was like, oh, this dude is dope. He reminds me like a Max B with the braids and the shades. Big Mike reached out to me as well as Tommy on MySpace. He paid for it's funny, Big Mike and Johnny Shipes drove down to Logan to meet up with Tommy at his crib. I forgot all about that because Johnny Shipes, he's the CEO of Cinematic now. He used to work with Big Mike. So they drove down here to meet Tommy. So then Big Mike started managing Tommy for a little bit. So yes, that was my first official real like management role as far as like managing Mville. And also one of my other closest friends, Rockstar P, we were actually doing that together. He used to be a host on Urban Expressions back in the day.
Light-skinned boy.
Yeah, him and our guy Ferno. We actually built like a little fake little indie label back then called Takeover Records. We had Mville and a few other artists. We had Bonnie, Reese Man. So, and this was like the early 2000s. So we've been doing it for so long. That was my first initial. So yeah.
What's your relationship with The Wall?
Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about 16. This was pre-documentary. So how that happened was I've always been heavy on the computer, on internet since, like I said, the MySpace days, Black Planet.
Black Planet.
Black Planet. Them days was crazy. Legendary. So
T, you was on Black Planet?
Just that Kanye line.
What?
On his first album. I forget what song.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
There's a line about Black Planet.
Yeah. So this was before the documentary came out. They had Black Wall Street had a message board or a forum called like blackwallstreet.com or whatever, where like fans or whatever can engage with like the game, his brother, the producers on the label. So I was one of the people that was on there, heavy on there. Game's producer, New Jersey Devil, who's from Atlantic City. We started building a relationship. From there, I was basically like an intern at their studio in Atlantic City. I reached out to him, and then I met Game through that situation. Meeting Game, I got cool with his management at the time, Jimmy Hinchman and Czar Entertainment. We built a relationship. So the initial interaction was that message board, blackwallstreet.com or whatever it was at the time. Just again, being that annoying 16, 17-year-old kid, bugging people and just trying to get in where I fit in led up to that.
Man, fuck all that. I would have did that shit if I knew.
No, yeah. And even that was, I was at the time, what it's called now, it's called digital marketing. But back then, I didn't know what it was. It was me sending out email blasts to DJs, trying to get games music popping. It was me being on message boards saying, yo, this is the new game freestyle, check it out. This is me sending out drops to DJs from the game. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was working at AC at New Jersey Devil Studio. We was printing up shirts and printing up mixtapes. It would be times New Jersey Devil would give me his MySpace password. He would say, yo, disapprove all these friend requests. It would be like hundreds of friend requests, like little stuff like that. They would go party, whatever. Me and his partners just downstairs in the basement just approving friend requests, pressing up them Black Wall Street hoodies, shirts, doing whatever we got to do.
That's mean.
Yeah. And again, it was no ego at the time. They would pay me a few $100s every now and then. I would catch the Amtrak train to AC, make it happen. When Game, it's funny because that tour that Game is talking about on the Drink Champs, the Snoop tour, the How the West Was One tour. When they came to Philly, that's the tour stop where Cicero had got signed, quote unquote signed. Cicero, he was in the hallway rapping, like real loud, trying to get attention. And Game heard him. Game brought him into the room, started rapping, and he signed him. And I was there at that tour stop. So it was funny when I heard him talk about that Snoop tour, how he had the Crips and the Blood on the same tour. So that's how I first met Cicero. So I've always been around that situation. And to go back what I was saying as far as ego and pride, back then, sometimes I'll be like too prideful or too nervous to like fly to LA to be around. I didn't ever want to be that guy, that too thirsty guy, which again could be a gift and a curse. But I've always kept that relationship with them. Even to this day, Game was on Clubhouse like during the pandemic. We were in the same rooms chopping it up or whatever. We still talk to this day through the internet or whatever, social media. Jimmy Hinchman is old management. I'm still cool with his son. So I've always just been solid and always trying to keep these relationships solid.
See, Game get a point because when I was a G-Unit mascot, I ain't getting no message boards. They ain't let me print up no shirts and none of that.
I was just talking to somebody about how I didn't get a chance to enjoy a lot of that G-Unit music because I was so loyal to that situation in hindsight. And it's like,
oh, you was around when it was on.
Yeah. And I always tell people I was so naive to all that stuff that was going on because I was so young. I knew it was blood activity, allegedly or whatever, but I was so naive to how serious it was because I'm in it for the music.
Right.
But in hindsight, I'm in Atlantic City at these dudes' studio and it's going down. I'm in New York I'm at the hip hop. At the time, they used to have the mixtape awards. Justo, rest in peace, Justo. This popular. He has to. So I was at the award show where it went down with Tony Ayo and Jimmy Hinchman allegedly, and I didn't realize it until like years later. I'm like, yo, I shook Jimmy's hand, and then it went down outside. So it's like being naive, 17, 18 years old. You don't know what's going on.
Right.
I was deep in the thick of that stuff. So thank God I was never involved in anything or shootouts or anything. They kept me separate from that type of stuff. I was always just the music guy, having relationships with people, and that was it. They never tried to make me get involved with none of that activity. So yeah, shout out to Game and everybody that was involved over there.
Yeah. I think that's dope that it's rare that you hear like the internet being used for good. Like it's how it's supposed to be used.
I'm the king. Back then I was the king. I'm still
tough on that joint.
Like back when people would go, I was going outside, but my friends would have to pull me from the internet. I was the dude.
Me too.
I was the dude that was like the cool edit pro, editing our songs before we go to 923 to perform. I'm on, like I said, the MySpace. They would have to pull me from that computer because I had a computer in my house since I was like 11, 12 years old. Like a lot of my friends didn't have a computer that early. So I always had the knowledge of how to maneuver and navigate the internet, whether it was AOL Instant Messenger, whether it was LimeWire, Kazaa, downloading music illegally, all that type of stuff I knew how to do, having an email blast list. Nobody knew how to do that at my age. So I've always had that knowledge to do that, as well as the networking outside, of course. But networking inside was always my thing because I figured it's easy to email somebody.
Yeah.
And for instance, I'll talk about the message board. I was on a message board called Technicians. Technicians. There's a DJ called DJ Rain from back in the day. He had a DJ coalition called the Technicians. It'll be executives on there, the most popular DJs on there. What I would do is, let's say a person works for Def Jam, 9 times out of 10, their email will be their first and last name at umusic.com. This is game. So let's say it was I'll give a name, Sam Crespo. He used to work for Def Jam. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, his email will be sam.crespo@umusic.com, which is Universal Music. If I don't know this person's email, I'm going to guess it. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it wouldn't. Stuff like that I would do.
Wait, what would you say? You'd be like, yo, I know you don't know how I got this email, but...
Yeah, I'm a DJ from Philly. Can you add me to the record pool list where you can send me the new latest MP3s? Or, yeah, stuff like that.
It would work?
Yeah, or I would go
That's
look
crazy.
in the Rockefeller, like Kanye West. He mentioned Kanye West. Kanye West album booklet. Oh, Ramses was his A&R? Ramses dot last name at umusic, or Ramses at Rockefeller, or Lenny S. I saw he had a sidekick in the Source magazine. Lenny S at tmail.com, because Tmail was the sidekick email. I'm guessing and figuring it out. And 9 times out of 10, that would be the email or address, or I would get it from a DJ I knew, or sometimes people didn't BCC their email, so I'll have a whole bunch of contact list of people that I was supposed to have. Stuff like that. You gotta finesse the situation. So that's the game right there. If someone work at a label, figure out what label they work for. 9 times out of 10, if it's Universal Music, it's probably umusic.com, and go from there and figure it out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yo, I remember, off topic, right? I remember we were so crazy on MySpace, right? We threw a house party, right? And an adult woman came to the party, yo.
Wow.
An adult woman, like, she was dressed so nice, yo. I think she got there. It was like, fuck it, I'm here.
I'm here now.
We was in like 8th grade we threw a dollar party, yo.
And she came through.
At the end of the night, we was like, yo, who
was that? She heard it was lit. She heard
a white woman, though. Tall white woman. They're like, so what school did she go to?
Right.
I'm like,
Who
yo,
does she know that's here?
I think she one of our friends on MySpace and just heard it was jumping.
She couldn't miss the vibes.
A whole adult at a dollar party fucking around with MySpace.
That's crazy.
I think it's dope to hear you talk like that. You just like inspired me to really like start kicking their ass on the internet more. I just be on there causing trouble, and that really don't be.
It may look like I be doing that, and it's like I'm in a DM. That's how I got. You didn't ask me this yet, but that's how I got a few years ago. I used to work at Cinematic as an A&R. I had a relationship with Johnny Shipes, but I DM'd him on Twitter like, "Yo, I'm looking for opportunity." It took a while, but on Twitter, hit him up
multiple times. You had to keep going.
And then shout out to Hovain. He had to co-sign it, but it was like,
I heard that name before.
Yeah, he manages Lloyd Banks, Styles P, a lot of people from New York and around the world.
Okay.
But using this internet is so important, man. If somebody's following you as a prominent figure, reach out to him. Shout out to Freddie Gibbs. I just got his email for some beats.
Okay.
I don't know Freddie Gibbs. I never met Freddie Gibbs in my life. He literally a few days ago sent me his email. I reached out to him in a DM. Yo, I got a group of producers. We got a pack for you. He sent me the email over. It was that easy. Like I said earlier, a lot of this stuff, put the ego and the too cool and nervousness, because if you're so nervous, you're not going to ever make a move for yourself. Right. And that's always stuff I've been battling with as far as being behind the scenes. So even this is new to me. I don't do this, but I feel like it's important for people to hear it, you know?
Yeah, I think that was something. All right, so something I wanted to ask you, right? Speak on the pros and cons of just doing it off the handshake as opposed to like just paperwork, as opposed to
the pros. I think Wale said in the Breakfast Club, because he's mentioned he doesn't like paperwork because it messes up the initial relationship with a person. Once you present that paperwork, it makes things awkward sometimes. Mm-hmm. They can either choose to sign it or they don't. So Wale was like, no, sometimes I don't do it. But the con of that is a person, they're not legally obligated to you in a situation, so they can get up and leave you whenever they feel like it. That's the number one con of the situation. The pros is you just building a solid relationship with somebody. That a handshake. I know people that's in real business on handshake business, but it's like that can only get you but so far. And I try to work with people that I build a relationship with. I want to know your family. I want to know who you are as a person too. The talent is cool and the artistry is cool, but it's like if we don't get along, because management is like having a baby. It's like a 24-hour gig. So it's like if we don't get along, I can't really work with you. So I want to, before the paperwork and all that, I want to know, can we get along? Can we hang out? Can we kick it? Can we go out to eat? Then we can maybe discuss working together. Right. But yeah, that con is definitely management. Even if you have paperwork with somebody, they can still get up and leave you. Like, so it's like that can hold a person to you, but if they want to leave you, They can figure it out on their own, and still they may be tied to you legally. They can still leave you, and that's being a manager. It's like the most selfless job in the business. You don't get credit for anything. You don't get credit for nothing. Mm-hmm. When it goes bad, all the fingers are pointing at you. When it goes good, the artists get all the credit because you're in the back. You're behind the scenes.
Right.
So like being a manager, you have to be really selfless because you're putting a whole human being ahead of you. Like imagine that. You're not putting yourself first. A whole other person's ahead of you. You have to be a therapist, a financial advisor. You got to book them shows or whatever it may be. So you're putting them, and you have your own life.
Right.
Like I have a wife and kids. So it's like, you got to understand that aspect too. So.
And a lot of times y'all front, like if it's an artist off the street, like a lot of times y'all front the bill for a lot of shit. I hear.
People get that mixed up. A manager is not always an investor. An investor is an investor. There are managers that choose to invest in the artist financially. Sometimes the artist may have their own money where they may only need your resources, which that's great. If you have your own money, I'll advise you what plays we need to make with your money and we figure it out. So, yeah. So an investor is an investor. A manager is a manager. Sometimes people think a manager is supposed to like, I mean, yeah, but again, if I'm bringing you all these resources, if I'm getting you on the radio, doing whatever with my resources, and you have the money to put it up, to front the bill, then we're partners now. Let's figure it out. Yeah. Let's figure it out together. But yeah, manager is not always an investor.
What goes into the relationship between a manager and an artist going sour, in your opinion?
Sometimes creative differences. Sometimes the artist not trusting the process. Sometimes the artist looking at another artist in their manager situation and thinking it should be you guys' situation. Not being patient enough is like really number one. Yeah, and just sometimes stuff may just not work out. Sometimes maybe that artist needs another manager to take them to the next level. And as a manager, you have to be okay with that. Like if you can only get them to a certain level and someone can reach down and grab them and take them further, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it could be that too. So a lot of things can make it go sour, but those are like the basic things. Usually it's just patience and just the artist not being patient enough and trusting the process, to be honest.
No, because because we was in here talking about like when them labels when y'all get up there in front of them labels, is it like, is the label pro y'all or is the label just pro artists and is looking to get you?
They probably trying to get the manager out the paint.
Yeah,
like if you don't got a production deal or nothing with that artist, it's easy to just get in the artist's ear and say, oh yeah, you don't need him, so and so. We'll get you your own manager. We got our own lawyers and managers. So it's easy. And that's where it goes, where you and the artist have to have a solid relationship prior to walking in the meetings. Because if y'all not solid and they get in his ear, he walking away from you.
Right.
Y'all have to have these conversations prior to that happening. That's why I say I like to know people before I get invested in their career. Because if I don't know your mindset prior to that, you could be that guy that walks away from me and you left me with nothing. But that's why it's also something called I think it's called a sunset clause in contracts with artists, where let's say he leaves me, but in the clause, if he leaves me, he's still kind of tied to me for like a few years or whatever, and I'll still make money off of it. I think it's called a sunset clause. So stuff like that is important. It's also important to have like an entertainment lawyer. If you don't have him, if you're not paying him, somebody that can advise you about the business. I'm getting into that now as far as learning about entertainment lawyers and things like that, because that's entertainment lawyers have a lot of relationships and connections too to the business. Because think about it, they're talking to the labels every day. So that lawyer could get you signed. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jay Berg. He deals with a lot of people in Philly, like a lot of Philly artists, Mont Brown, and a lot of these kids. They go through Jay Berg. He's like a prominent lawyer in the city.
That fucking name before.
Sean Smith. I think he's his lawyer. A lot of people. He goes to a lot of he does a lot of these artists in the city. So yeah, just have a lawyer. Get advice, much advice. Use the internet, man. Google.
Have you ever thought about growing what you do into like a company?
Yeah, I'm doing it now. I have my management company. My biggest thing is I've always been doing it alone. I've never had my own team. I've always been a part of people's team, pushing them. I've never had my in-house team supporting my vision and my dream. So now moving forward, I'm trying to do that as far as hiring people, if it's an intern helping me or for whoever, building out my team and my structure so I can have my own company. So I am working on that. It is a process just to have people you can trust and, believe in you. You know what I'm saying? Because I've always been that person that people go to I believe in them. So now I have to kind of put myself in the forefront to brand myself a little bit more, because I want to be a prominent figure in the business, but I can't do that always trying to pull people up with me. Let me first step out and figure myself out and then pull you guys up. Because I've been trying to do it at the same time, like pull people up with me while I'm trying to get my stuff figured out. No, let me build my stuff, build my company out, and then become a force in the business. And now I can bring you guys with me.
What goes into you picking who to reach out to even work with?
I don't know. The hunger, the passion for the business. Not
as far as not even that. As far as like you say you on the timeline, you like, I mean, which one of these you pick? Try like the scope out of artists. Like
artists. It could be anything. As somebody finding them on Instagram or somebody suggesting an artist to me. It's not even a formula with that. The guy I was talking about, Ken Masters from Delaware. I've just known him for a few years. I saw he was talented. I wanted to work with him. Okay. Sometimes it's not as difficult as people may think it is. It's literally just if you dope, I'm going to work with you. But it also, like I said, I gotta like you as a person too sometimes. Right. But yeah, if someone texted me a song or an album from somebody, I'm gonna check it out. Let's work. The internet, Twitter, I keep hearing somebody's name over and over again. I'm gonna check them out. Right. Maybe Facebook, anything. Word of mouth. So
yeah, because I see. It's funny. I seen you a lot of times. You and shout out to Kim Chanel.
Oh yeah.
Y'all be saying the same
Shout out to Kim.
As far as like managing artists, being like
she went through a situation. Yeah, she went through something I think too with her previous artist. So it was like at the same time I was going through something. It is a thankless job because you're putting your whole life on the line and a whole person in front of you, like I said. So it is a thankless job. And her as a woman is probably even more harder because a lot of times men think they know everything and gotta have this bravado and strong and may not be respectful, And that she probably has had way tougher situations in the past few years than I have, because these guys can be really rough on women in the business. So shout out to Kim. She's working with OT Kwani now. So I definitely hope that works out.
One of my favorite artists.
That's all I'll be listening to.
So who you like in the city right now?
Like Philly? I just said, OT7 Kwani's like number one. I listen to Leaf. I like Leaf Ward. I like West Philly Tour a lot. I like D4M Sloan. I just started kind of tapping into the guy Hood Tally. I'm not really big on the drill. I like it every now and then. I like shout to Frenchie, R&B, shout to Bino. It's so many artists, man. There's been Young K, all them guys. I listen to them every now and then. Right. Young K, Mook. It is crazy because like a lot of people that have relationships in the business, they ask me about all these artists. People would have no idea that I'm at the forefront of a lot of these situations. Like a lot of these execs, they call me about these artists. Like Too Rare. A record exec called me, was like, this guy, and I don't even know Too Rare, right? But like, I'm co-signing these people, and these artists probably have no idea, and it's been like that for a long time, where people call me about artists, and I'll co-sign them, and they'll probably have meetings off of my co-sign or my suggestion. Even though I was a cinematic, I was in A&R meetings playing Leaf Ward, Tour, Side Moscow, all these people, and people have no idea. Like, I'm not gonna be reaching out telling them I'm doing off his strength. Jersey artists, whoever, Florida artists, I'm doing this off his strength for me liking them. So, but I like it like that. I like being like the behind the scenes guy where like I'm not always taking the credit for that. But like if you know. So yeah.
No, because I brought up Kim because I seen y'all basically. Y'all was going through. It's almost like this. It was at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and then I see her start working with him. I'm like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
I'm like, it must be something to where like y'all got to have a love for it to go back in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw her mention that at first she didn't really want to do it. Yeah. I mean.
But with him, I remember my man write for Audio Mac, and I remember I reached out to him, and he was like, "Yo, who that?" I'm like, "All right,
yeah, it's banana look, right?"
Yeah, right. So
I think it's the love is always gonna, the love and the passion for it is always gonna push you. Even if you get in situations where you're discouraged and frustrated with the situation, eventually you're always gonna circle back. Cause this is all I'm a smart guy, but this is my love, and this is not all I know, but for the most part, this is my number one love. So it's like whatever I go through, if it turns out sour, I may take a few months off, but I'm gonna have to get back to it because this is my dream and my passion. I'm really passionate and knowledgeable about it. So why not get back into it? You know, music is like we run this, like hip hop culture. We run this shit. So why not? You know what I'm saying?
Well, speak on DJ Young Legend TV, your vlog series.
Oh yeah. That was something I started a few years ago after I had left Cinematic. Just me wanting to brand myself again and just do it in a different way where I kind of put myself in front of the camera, so to speak. I'm actually gonna be relaunching that soon. The previous interviews I had with Sean Cotton, Louis V. Gutta, Mike Knox when he first got out of jail. I had Casanova, a lot of people. Just me being a fan of like podcasting and YouTube and figuring I can do it, which I know I can do it. So it's like, that's gonna be something I'm gonna be reintroducing probably in the spring, summertime. So now I'll be starting that again. I wanna attack it in a different way, not just face-to-face interviews. I want to do just maybe just going in the corner store, buying some chips, having a conversation that way, go out to eat, going to whatever restaurant and just talking that way rather than, you know, on a couch or whatever. But I'm figuring that out now, and I got a few cameramen on deck doing that, and probably going to build out my own website just for that, and hopefully shop it to like a network. That's my biggest thing, being like a producer of things. Again, being behind the scenes and like producing things, and then push them to a network where I can shop. It's like a Revolt or whatever. Right. I have an idea in mind now that I want to do. That I want to like shop. It's like a complex, like a 5-part series for something. It's so much money and avenues in this stuff, man. You have no idea. Any ideas you have, put them on paper, jot them down, just do them, because you don't always got to attack it the same way everybody else is attacking it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why I'm looking at it. Like,
I've been seeing people like that do like, so we do the podcast thing X amount of times a week, right? But I could almost see us like, I'm noticing that like Kasim is good at sports, right? Yeah. And Mike and Kenny, they good at like talking fashion and whatever, right? Whatever trend going on. So I could see us like, I've been thinking about it, but I almost like want to expand this. You know what I'm saying? To where,
it's funny you said that, because as soon as you said sports, I'm like even branching off, but still coming through as a collective for this. Yeah. Maybe have Kasim doing sports for like a hip hop since '87. I'm giving ideas out, but it is what it is. Reaching out to them, yo, my man do sports, but that way y'all branding yourself, and but also always coming back to this, because this is the brand. This is the root of it. Right. This podcast. Yeah. But branding each other separately, where y'all can bring each other up and build opportunities out that way.
Because it was another podcast we just did earlier this week, and they just started a sports stream of YouTube where they just want to talk strictly sports over there, but then come back over here. So it's like,
why not? Because then what if the sports thing pop off first? Yeah. Imagine ESPN pick up a clip, and that happens like that fast. So, and then that be the thing that propels y'all. And this, y'all can still use this, but that be the thing that gets y'all through the door. So why not? Yeah.
I'm starting to realize like it's more work to be done. You know what I'm saying?
Always. Even when you think you're at a level where you comfortable, is not. Like I remember working at Cinematic, like, commuting on the mega bus to New York every day. Damn, I'm living my dream, and getting comfortable. And was like, is a person that wants your spot that's not comfortable. So you gotta keep working, and it's always a level. Even at that level, it's like, no, keep going. Even if you feel like you reached the pinnacle, no, it's another level. Because Elon Musk and these guys are making billions. So until you reach in those levels, I'm sure they want to reach higher levels than that. So until you reach those levels, it's always gonna be a level.
Yeah. So that's why I've been. I was like, I didn't really want to do the YouTube shit, but then I've been looking into it. It's a lane.
It's a lane. And I was telling somebody earlier, actually, shot the cat out the bag. Me and Veli are working together. Veli manages Capella Gray. Okay. He has a few producers I'm helping him manage. We were just talking about his producer, just building out his YouTube channel and how much work it takes to do that. You're gonna get 2 views. You're gonna get 10 views. It's not gonna happen overnight. We get thousands of views.
We there now.
It takes but it takes the work. Like, of course, you're gonna get frustrated seeing that, but you have a catalog on YouTube with, let's say, you know me. Let's say I send your YouTube link to Charlemagne. He may see the views, but he sees a catalog of work y'all put in. he may want to fuck with y'all. Whoever it may be, I send it, whoever. I'm using me as an example. Let's say you send your podcast to whoever. You have a catalog now of stuff. Don't worry, focus on the views so much. It's cool to have the views, but focus on that work you putting in, the consistency. Because Say Cheese wasn't always Say Cheese. Hip Hop 87 was always, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Everybody has those humble beginnings. I've had humble. I'm still in the beginning, believe it or not. So, yeah, let's keep doing what y'all doing.
It's crazy. Like you, I could talk to you between like you, Chad, and like Nerd. They all kind of like shape the way I speak on certain things. Like I gotta have like some kind of research on certain shit before I speak. As far as music, because I love music.
But you are, I think you're knowledgeable. You speak on things knowledgeable.
Yeah,
for sure.
But it come from like learning. You know what I'm saying? Watching y'all.
No, it's a process. I'm still learning. I'm trying to pick up books and stuff to read every day. And even you mentioned like those like my close friends as well. I've known Chad since I was like 12 years old, Nerd for years and years. So even those guys, how they're in the podcasting space and they were at the forefront of this stuff, it's like I learned from them too. Like it's weird because I know all these people, but like I'm legit fans of them. Aside from
the best part.
Yeah, it is weird because it's like it's weird. Like I love listening to y'all podcasts. I never have to be on this podcast a day in my life, but I will always listen to it. Same with Chad, same with Nerd, Joe Button, all these people. I love listening to podcasts and being informed of different things. So it's like, and that's the best thing. So yeah, everybody's doing their thing. Shout out to y'all, shout out to Nerd, and everybody doing y'all thing.
Yeah, everybody wanted to be an artist, but even now when I'm thinking about it, like when I find certain songs, like you ever be like the first one on the artist,
always
they be like, yo, you should be this. I'm like, I don't even know how to go about being that shit. You know what I'm saying?
But I've been that guy, and it's been annoying people. I annoy people being that guy so much. They'll text me somebody, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I know about him already. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
So it's just learn how to finesse it into a situation for yourself. If you're that guy, turn it into a segment on the show where you previewing this guy's music exclusively. So on YouTube, when that guy gets a Grammy 10 years from down the line, they can double back and search that person's name and they'll be like, oh yeah, One Fan Radio played that guy first. Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Where it makes sense. Where it's like, damn, you have the history. You're not making this up. I played the song on my show or whatever. So yeah, just finesse it and figure out. Yeah.
Are you, with you managing people, are you in the market for more artists to manage, or is just one at a time?
I think the biggest thing is even to figure out, like I'm good at a lot of things. Like I'm great at management, but I'm also great at A&Ring. So it's also figuring out how much I want to take on, because I also want to be an A&R at a label again. So it's like I'm fine with just having an artist or one or two artists, but I also want to establish myself as a prominent A&R. Because like you just said, like I just said, I'm the guy that always finds the talent and always knows about artists first. So if I'm gonna do that, go back to a label and establish myself. So I don't know right now if I want to take on too many artists. Like I said, I have the one right now, but I think the goal is to get another A&R position on the label, so where I'm established, and then all right, I'm at a label again. Now I can work on managing artists.
Where you want to go? Like where do you like?
I don't know. Like
where do you see yourself fitting at?
Any place that gives me the freedom to just venture out and find talent and trust in my ear enough to sign that artist. Because a lot of times there are A&Rs that work at these labels, but they haven't signed anybody because the label doesn't believe in the artist or trust them enough to sign them. So I could believe in you as an artist, but there's a process. I have to bring you to the label, and they have a team of executives to believe in that artist too. It's deeper than just me liking you and getting signed. It don't work like that.
Right.
So I'll go to any situation that believes in my vision and my foresight and that wants to work with me and allow me that freedom, and trust me enough to bring artists to the table and sign them. Because that's the biggest thing. You can have meetings with these artists and all that, but that deal was really what counts on my record. You know what I'm saying? On my resume.
Yeah.
Because it's been artists there's a kid, Pootie from Florida. He had a song that went crazy viral a few years ago. I had a meeting with him. He signed an Interscope a few years later. I could have had Cowboy from Chicago. I could have had 42 Doug. I know it's Old Manager Halim. So it's like, it's cool to say that, but it didn't work out for me.
Right.
So like, what good is that for me? It doesn't. I'm the guy that almost had 4-2 Doug. Yeah. No, you have to physically make it happen, and the label has to trust you enough to make it happen. So
how would you go about a label putting a deal on the table? Mm-hmm. You with an artist, but you know more about the business than him. He sprung off the number they put in front of him, yeah. But you know, like, yo, they gonna kick us in our ass on the back end after this event. Like, how is that another one of them scenarios where the artist and the manager could be like part ways?
Yo, it's tough. It's funny you said that, because I remember being at Cinematic, being a creative and being on the business side at the same time is tough. Imagine you being a creative and knowing everything about the business. You knowing these labels take advantage of artists, some of them, not all of them. I'm not saying Cinematic, I'm just saying in general.
Right.
You know, you have the knowledge, but you seeing these kids walking in the label, kind of getting taken advantage of, or in a situation getting taken advantage. What do? You're you're contracted to work for this label, but you also know sometimes the situation isn't the best. What do? But if it was my artist, I wouldn't just let him sign anything.
Right.
I wouldn't. I couldn't just the number, because you're giving up something for that advance. They're going to offer you $1 million, right? But they're probably going to take your publishing unless you have some leverage, which you probably don't. They're probably going to take whatever, your merchandise 360 deal, whatever. So yeah, the $1 million sounds cool, but you're giving up a lot. That's why that the Meek situation, all that's happened, the Meek and the NBA Youngboy, because you gave up something initially. That's why you get stuck in these situations. And you don't have the knowledge. Nobody's advising you in 2001 or 2005, oh yeah, you should be doing it. Because you're thinking about the money. Get out the hood. That's why these guys are so disgruntled now.
What can they do, in your opinion? Those two artists you just named.
What could they have done, or what could a new artist do now?
No. Meek trying to get out of it
now.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing he has to do now is just honor the contract. I mean, luckily for Meek in his situation, he has Rock Nation relationships and other relationships where Atlantic probably won't hold him, but they'll keep him in pocket for as long as they can. They'll be like, oh yeah, you owe an album? All right, well, it won't come out for 9 months. Or, oh yeah, we'll count it as a mixtape. We'll count it as an EP. They play those type of games. Oh yeah, DC4, that wasn't the album for real. You called it a mixtape. So yeah, it doesn't go against your contract.
That's nasty.
It is, but unfortunately, they signed these deals, and then they probably had the record label probably gave them an appointed lawyer. So imagine that. Imagine you don't even have your own lawyer. The label gives you that's a conflict of interest right there.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't even know how that works. Like, oh yeah. They're like, yeah. We have a lawyer for you. That's not how it should go. Yeah. Because the lawyer is in bed with the label. No, you should have your own separate lawyer, your own team to walk in these meetings with, not the label appoint. He's on their payroll. So of course, he's gonna be in the label's best interest, not the artist. Why would the lawyer be in the artist's best interest? So
I think it's crazy. Like, when I was young, I used to think when them guys I used to think they got, I think a CD I used to think they get paid, like you pay $16 for a CD. I used to think they get like $10 out of that. I used to think they get like a little cent every time their song got played. You get older and realize these niggas get paid. They get less than a penny from streaming. They get cents off of the CD if it gets bored at one time.
Imagine, think about the artists that signed contracts before the streaming. That means they probably have these old grandfather contracts that don't even have the revenue of like the streaming numbers and stuff. So imagine you signed a contract in like 99 or 2000. You probably have like your contract probably is so crazy like right now. So
like some of them get paid one time. Paid one time, you advance, you don't recoup, and you stuck.
You might get paid quarterly depending on your publishing, but other than that might not even be a lot of money. Like Youngboy, they own his YouTube channel.
And that should make what he said $26 million a month or some shit like that.
He might not never see those.
Or 16.
He might not never see those checks, man. Unfortunately. Yeah,
so how they get his YouTube through his 360?
Yo, when you sign contracts, these labels will be like, yo.
That's why the contract be like this.
Yes, they'll be like, yo, what's your username and password? I've worked at labels. What's your SoundCloud username and password? What's your Twitter? They probably don't give their IG up because they like having IG. What's your Spotify? So they give that over to the digital marketing team. That's theirs now. So the digital marketing team, they're uploading the songs and sending them to streaming. They own it now because it's probably in their contract. But you're not going to realize that until it's now. Where let's say you're an artist like a Fetty Wap, you want to upload a song on SoundCloud and it gets taken down. They're like, why y'all take? Because the label owns the song.
Yeah,
you can't just freely put music up. That's not how it works.
He was saying that he had to lie to Knit the Grit and say he was going through like mental health issues in order to put that recent album out.
Sometimes, yeah. You ever wonder why artists change their name sometimes?
Yeah,
for that reason, like a Prince, go by a symbol. Joe Budden, I think he wanted to do like a thing called Rage Against the Machine, or just raise. So yeah, to get out of it, it's like a finesse. Try to get a deal somewhere else or finesse out of it so you don't. It's a finesse. It's crazy. You got the loopholes you got to go through.
Would you vote against artists signing record deals?
Record deals can help you though. Just depending on the how it's structured. I can't say I'm against it because a record deal can change your life. I can't be against you providing for your family, but a lot comes with providing for your family. Again, what are you giving up? That publisher can help feed your family. If you're giving that up for $30,000 in advance, is it worth it? No. At the time, it might sound like it because you can get your mom a house, you could get a car or whatever. But once that advance is gone, now what? You give up your publishing. So if it's structured in a way that benefits you and your family and it allows you to have some type of leverage, yeah.
Do they get their show money?
Maybe. They may. It depends. Again, all of them may not, though. It depends on how the deal was structured. It may be a 360 where the labels get a percentage or most of it. They may be getting their show. They may be getting their streams. They may be getting merchandise. Again, depending how it's structured. It's nasty. But pros, there are good stories about a label could be fucking you over, but you can still become the biggest artist in the world. But nobody would know that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're the biggest artist, but you're also getting fucked in the process. Like Lil Wayne, he was under a Birdman. He wasn't getting what he was worth, but he the biggest artist. So it's like, is it work? It's like it's working out it's kind of like working out, but on the back end, it's not because you're not getting what you worth. You're the biggest artist in the world, but they're fucking you over in the process.
What are some of your favorite people in hip hop as far as on the business side of it?
I would say Dame Dash for his passion. He gets a bad rap, but he helped put one of our biggest artists in the game. You know, his passion and his. If Jay-Z didn't have Dame Dash, he wouldn't be the Jay-Z we know. It took Dame Dash to walk into these record labels and to curse people out. It's like he had to take the fall for Jay-Z when you think about it.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. It's like, again, it goes back into putting a whole other person in front of you. He had to be perceived as this angry executive in order for Rockefeller and Jay-Z to be successful. Like, imagine that. Right. Jay-Z wasn't doing that for himself. Biggs was the quiet one. Dame had to be that one. He had to have that persona. So I think Dame was like one of my number one guys. I can't think of who else off the top. I like the regular names, the Kevin Lyles, the Steve Stout for what he did for like the branding game as far as getting a lot of artist deals, like Nas with like certain deals and like brand partnerships and stuff like that.
Right.
He was like Steve Stout helped with like the S. Carters for Jay-Z and 50 Cent, the G Unit deals for Reebok. So stuff like that Steve Stout did. It's so many people. Sycamore, he started out like me, a mixtape DJ. Now
Sycamore, he did the beats.
He used to do the instrumental mixtapes.
Yeah.
He had the
like J Arms and all that.
Yeah, he had the Sycamore drop.
Yeah.
Now he's working with Travis Scott, YG. So it's like these executives I look up to. Dallas Martin in Atlantic, Young Sav, he managed to flip De Niro. Now he's the co-head of music at Arista. So many people, man. So many.
How do you feel about TikTok? Like, I feel like TikTok, I ain't gonna lie, I don't even have that shit on my phone, but that shit has introduced me to so much music and so many new artists.
I'm gonna be transparent with you. I was so against it because I thought it was for kids. So I just downloaded it maybe a few weeks ago, which I should have been on it. I think in the space we're in, it's important for us to use these apps that are here for us. It's like regardless of what it is. Like, I'm sure our parents looked at us crazy if we've been on MySpace.
Right.
But because we're in this generation, we have to engage with these different apps. Like, if it's for cool kids or not, people are getting record deals off of these apps. People are creating content. Like, you could be putting your podcast on this app. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, you figure it out. I know it's kind of hard to navigate it because I don't even understand it really, but figure out how to navigate it, figure out how to put clips on there and just use it to your benefit.
Yeah, I'm realizing like it's a couple blocks I gotta get more familiar on. Reddit. Reddit.
Oh, Reddit is like a secret society. Oh man, it's like crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
I love Reddit.
Yeah.
I got. But one thing I'm realizing, right?
Yeah.
And you've been doing this. It's a difference between being on social media and working social media. Like I could be on there bidding all day, but then I got to be.
It got to be a
there.
mix of it though. Yeah. But I think you're trying to do that though. I see you do that. But I think the bidding on it and having the fun can allow people to bring in the people engaged. Because a lot of times, me just even having normal conversation with people allow them to start following me, like prominent people in the business. Oh yeah, he's a cool dude. Let me follow him. So I think don't force it. Keep doing what you're doing, and people are going to gravitate toward it. But also, like you said, mix it in because it's a guy. It's a flea artist. I'm not gonna say his name, but it's a flea artist I know. He started to turn into like the funny, like the meme guy, like the saying the funny tweets and like the Justin LeBoy type stuff.
Yeah.
I did him. I was like, yo, start putting your music in the middle of that. Because it don't make sense to be that funny guy on Twitter, but then it's like you're a full artist.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. Reply to the tweet and put your video on the tweet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you got a tweet that goes viral, put your podcast YouTube link on there. Make it make sense at the end of the day.
I got to start getting more on Reddit. You said TikTok.
Yep,
What was the other one I was about to say? Oh, the Discord.
Discord is a
You
secret.
how many Discords
I love
you in,
Discord.
We have one for Bell and the Berman.
All right.
So
Discord is great.
Your podcast needs a Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had people. My man, I don't know if you know, my man Corey Lee is a prominent, popular gambling Discord called Everybody Eats. It's like over 1,000 people in it. He charges a subscription for people to put their betting slips in there, share their slips, share their wins. $20 a month. Oh, and Patreon. Stuff like that.
Patreon, yeah.
It's like so much though. Like
Yeah.
Patreon. People are gonna pay.
Discord, all that. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, there's so many Discords I like to be a part of. It's fun.
How many you in?
I'm in the gambling one. My man, shout out to It's the Real Podcast. They have like a Discord as well. Ransom, the artist Ransom, he has one. Chad is creating one I joined.
Yeah.
He's not using it right now, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm
like in 5. Yeah. It's hard to keep up with it. With all
I'm only in 3.
It's hard to keep up with Discord. I take the notifications off because it's too much.
They was killing me,
It's
yo.
like
Every
boom,
time
boom,
something
boom.
got said in the joint, I had to go back and
You got
fix that
muted.
shit.
Yeah.
I'm in the Gym Factory,
Oh yeah. Gym Factory. Yeah.
I'm in Academics, John.
I didn't even know he had. I didn't know he had Discord. That's what's up.
Academics?
Yeah, that's what's up. I didn't know he had
That's
one.
my man. Everybody
I know,
else be
every
killing
podcast
it.
you talking about
Yeah,
this.
that's my man. Everybody else melting, but to me, he a ball of information to me.
Yeah, I
like,
learned to like him. You know, at the beginning, everybody was like he was a true. No, he's smart, yo. He's really smart,
he a nerd.
yo.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
people. I like people that can nerd out and shit.
Yeah. Oh, and then you just mentioned the stream is a whole streaming.
Oh, the Twitch.
Yo, it's so much, man.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like we got to do all this stuff. That's like
Yeah.
everything we name, we have to do it. Literally, even
Yeah.
me, I got to do it. So, yeah, it's fun.
Twitch. I've been thinking about Twitch a lot because you don't have to have. There'll be no games being played on the Twitch I watch. They use it for sports now. Like I follow a guy called Legend of Winning. He every time the Lakers play, he on there talking about the Lakers or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm big on like I'm happy I can still like embrace content as much as I do it. So you know what I'm saying, I'm learning. I'm always learning and shit. So
gotta stay ahead of the curve. And try to figure out what's going on.
So we need a spot on this vlog. When this vlog coming back?
Well, today's the first day of spring, so I gotta hold myself to that. So spring, summertime, probably next month or so. To be honest, I've been kind of pushing it back because I'm so hard on myself with it. Because I want to have I want to come out with a bang. So I gotta just start recording the episodes. But yeah, y'all could definitely be on there. That's nothing. That's easy.
No, it's just me. Fuck this.
No, they ain't show up to my interview.
Yeah, he a noodle. Kasim a noodle. The other two, they bailed earlier in the day.
Yeah, they had good excuses.
Yeah, I was just with the nigga.
So I go to a party.
I was just with him, and he bailed me out for
That's
some
funny.
seafood salad. Yo,
That's what's up.
let them know where they can find you because I'm pretty sure a couple people gonna reach out to you. I know a lot of artists that listen to us.
DJ Young Legend. This is just exactly how I said it. DJ Young Legend on Twitter. DJ Young Legend 215 on Instagram. I'm all over there. DJ Young Legend 215 at Gmail if you want to reach out to me on the side or whatever. And I'm here. I'm around.
Yeah, this is another one of them, man. Seems like every time I come back, we do 3 episodes.
And we ain't even really dive in. It's so much more. It's so much, but yeah, I appreciate it.
What's up? Like,
I don't know. I feel like I didn't really give my full backstory because I didn't dive into the mixtape era of my life. I used to be a part of a team called Tape Masters Inc. It's so much,
wait,
man.
you can't just. That's a real.
Yeah,
that's
it's so much though. Yeah.
No. We gotta get into that right now because I've heard that drop.
Oh yeah. So all right,
That's a universal
I'm
drop.
gonna speed it up. So shout out to Lex and Wex. They from one of them passed away. Wex passed away a few years ago. Long story short, they were already kind of popping with the mixtape game, getting like the exclusives. However they got them was from an intern, whoever. I joined them because I had a Mace record called I think it was Brief Stretch Shake, and I had sent it to them and kept sending them exclusives I was getting, and they let me be a part of the team. We were in the Double XL magazine. We did a lot together.
All right, so let me ask you this: when you making them mixtapes, right?
Yeah.
You got to get them songs exclusively.
If you want to sell a lot of units and a lot of copies, you need to have your track listing need to be crazy. Your track listing that's the most important. That used to be the most important part of the mixtape. The cover and the track listing. If I'm looking at the track listing, it has to be appealing.
Right.
Usually from like the number 1 and number 10. It has to be like, oh yeah, exclusive 50 Cent, Jay-Z, exclusive Fab and Jewel, but it gotta be like
so
that.
So how was y'all able to work around that? Because y'all had to deal with because I'm pretty sure 50 was giving all his stuff to
Well, you'd have to get it illegally. You sometimes have to get it when you wasn't supposed to have it.
Right.
So it'd have to be a situation where, let's say, an intern from like Def Jam send you something from like Jay-Z you wasn't supposed to have. And you're taking a gamble putting it on your mixtape, but it's gonna sell your mixtape. You know what I'm saying? Or you have a whole. Also, back in those days, 2000s, you get a host, you'll get like a Fab hosted by Fab. So you'll probably have a Fab intro, 2 Fab freestyles, and maybe like an outro and an exclusive song. That's the way to sell your mixtape. So we mentioned Sycamore, set you apart. All instrumentals, that set you apart from everybody.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing back then was having like your own niche. You didn't want to be like K-Slay or Big Mike or Envy. They had their niche already.
Right.
How could you set yourself apart? And I think how we did it was literally having all exclusives. Like we had like Usher exclusives. This person, because we had relationships at like all the labels, and we would get them however we got them. Sometimes you have to pay for these songs. The mixtape games be really deep back in the day, man. It really was like
crazy.
It was
hearing
deep,
like you talk like you basically worked your way into that shit. You know what I'm saying?
And it was just off of pure just gambles and like I said, I didn't know them tape masters and guys at the time. It was like, oh damn, I have a song that they probably will want. I could probably finesse this into a situation for myself.
So songs back then were like trading cards. Yo, I just got this.
Dog, it would be times. Well, we talked about on Twitter. Shout out to my man Low Key. He works for Apple Music now. He used to have a website called YouHeardThatNew.com. It would be times we'd been on AOL Instant Messenger, and you would like just transfer a song on Instant Messenger that way.
Yeah.
Or you didn't want to have an email trap because people could find, hack your shit. You'll send it through AOL Instant Messenger. He'll send me a freestyle of like a Fab. I'll send him like a whoever I may have, and I'll put my drop on the song, and he'll put it on his website, and the song is out of here. But I got my drop on there, so I got my credit. But that comes with a lot too, because niggas will start calling you. Like one time, I was on 3 with Wyclef. I was on 3 with Wyclef Jean and Jimmy Henchman about a song I sent out. So it was like,
you got in trouble?
He was like, they were like, where'd you get this song from? And I was kind of like, oh, I just got it. I downloaded it on the internet. And because I emailed blasted it out with my tag on it, and Jimmy saw it, and he called me, and I didn't know Wyclef was going to be in the damn phone. I was kind of nervous, but they didn't press me about it.
What song was it?
It wasn't nothing you would ever know. I don't even remember. It was nothing. I think it was just
going to November.
No, it was like late 2000s. It wasn't nothing that it was pop. It was just a song I probably found, and I wanted to capitalize off of it. That's the biggest thing. If you get something early, back then, capitalize off it, put your tag on it, put it on the internet. And there was a time I used to send stuff to Kobe Cole when he was on the radio. Not at Part 99, who was at 103.9. He would like shout me out for stuff. I would send him like, if Jay-Z would like freestyle real quick, or like a Hot 97, or put something out real quick, I would grab it and send it to him. Kobe would clean it up and put it on play it in the afternoon on the show. So
yo, you know how many songs I heard on the Come Up show that I never heard again?
Yeah.
And that's probably why.
It'll be like that sometimes. Yeah, it'll be like that sometimes, man. The game, it was
and I was on the internet bullshitting, looking at porn, dog. This
we
nigga
all
was living.
But no, you gotta do both. But it was that music stuff I'm talking about. That was a dark. I wouldn't call it a dark web, but it was like
sound like it.
It would kind of be like, if you know, like all these bloggers that's prominent, that like Elliot Wilson's, they was in. All these people was back then they were doing the same things as far as like figuring this stuff, sending songs to each other. It was Not Right. It was on Smash, Not Right. You heard that new Ill Roots, all these blogs. That's how he became successful, getting these exclusive. How would you get traffic to your website? You had to have content. So it was fun, man.
It's just dope hearing you, like the way you utilize the internet.
Oh, I couldn't bullshit because that when I was younger, that computer was in my mom and dad's house. It was like I had to make it make sense for them to keep letting me use the computer and using that internet. It wasn't Wi-Fi. It was you paying for the Ethernet. Yeah, so it was like they coming down the steps, probably walking behind me, see what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm gonna be on these message boards and editing songs because I love it and it has to make sense. And they saw the fruits of the labor a few times from that, so I couldn't just be bullshitting. So it was fun. It was definitely fun. Yeah, man.
A young legend. Okay, the name. So
it's so much.
Because I know a nigga from that name legend. He just shoot at people. So
he might be a legend at shooting.
Yeah, he a legend in all the wrong
streets.
shit. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, my story not over. So I named my daughter. Her middle name is Legacy. So hopefully she'll pass on the legacy. And to be honest, I was thinking about this in the car. Like the reason why I'm doing this interview and a lot of stuff I'm trying to do is because I want stuff to live on the internet where she and my kids, they can see this. I don't want to just I don't want to have like the hearsay, oh yeah, he was cool, he was dope. No, they could double back and hear this interview and find out what I really used to do. So it's important for me to start to step in front of the camera, in front of the mic, to actually finally, after all these years, tell my story, get out of my comfort zone and give this game information so they can hear it and people that I don't know can hear it and utilize the situation and get this information and get this game and apply it to their own careers and their own life journeys.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's something I think Nerd has said that too, as far as like these episodes and these interviews and stuff being a part of like your legacy. You know what I'm saying? Being something that you can leave behind.
Dog.
That's something he say a lot.
The older I get, the more I didn't care about this shit years ago, but now when you got like family, it's like, damn. Like what will they say about me when I'm gone? You know what I'm saying? What can they type in on YouTube or on Google that will come up?
Yeah.
So that shit is important, yo. And when people die and people talk at funerals and have such nice stuff to say, you want the same stuff to be said about you. You want the catalog and legacy to live on. You want them to put up your podcast and YouTube and these interviews. Damn, my dad, my cousin, my brother, he was doing everything he said, and plus more. So I'm gonna keep getting out of my comfort zone and doing more stuff like this. Hopefully this won't be the last. So yeah.
Damn.
It's deep, dog. It's deep. Like I said, the older you get, when you have kids, like damn, what we leaving them? Aside from financial,
yeah, right.
Like it's cool to say you got a podcast, but where's that at? Oh yeah, I was on YouTube. Oh yeah, now I can check my dad's podcast. You know what I'm saying? 10 years ago,
my kids, they starting to be on like TikTok, and my daughter, she like write and do art. So knowing that she has that inner that she'll probably do because. With us it's different. Like we creatives, like, you know what I'm saying? Even with T, like we do more than just live. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So to see that in them, it's like, all right, so let me keep going so they see. Like they don't like when they see this, they know what it means and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll be on their YouTube and see like in the suggested videos, you know what I'm saying? And my joint will pop up. So you saying that as far as like kids, because they can pick up on that. You know what I'm saying? My daughter can really draw, like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And you're an example for her. She may not understand necessarily right now, but eventually she will, and then she can double back and listen to the catalog and see what you really was doing right now, you know, in the future. So yeah, all this stuff that we're doing right now is important. This is all history.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yep.
Appreciate you coming out, man.
Anytime, man. Anytime here.
Definitely gotta get you back. You gotta come back when we talking. We just gonna have a music.
I can't wait for that. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Anytime.
You know
I love that.
You know, like you could be the mediator.
And I've been listening to all. I'm a fan, so I listen to all these. Like when you had the young lady up here talking about the Bel Air show. I'm listening to everything. Yeah. Even when you had the kid on here, the episode that went crazy viral.
60, yeah.
All that type of stuff.
Yeah,
man. That's my favorite episode so far.
Episode 60. Yeah, shout out to Linzel. Shout out to him. Update on him. He offered probation and everything. He said
that's
he's doing
what's
good,
up, man. Shout out to him. Y'all gotta do an update. See. Update episode if you're around.
All right, so that's a good idea. I'm gonna reach out. See, all right, so we need young legend. You know what I'm saying?
Update
young
episode.
legend about to manage the one that far.
Right.
Shit, you know what I'm
Let's do it. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I think this is a good one. They got a good week ahead of them, man.
I appreciate it.
Episode 90.